Sassy Sense here with another fragrance review. I got Mo. How are you, Mo? He's in the house. He actually went ahead and hooked me up with a bottle of pineapple vintage King Intense. So I was here to go ahead and bring you guys a review. I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about it. This is hashtag not sponsored. At least it's not sponsored for me, but I guess it's kind of, I don't know how you got it actually. I'm not even gonna ask, but there's another Aventus clone.
So thank you, Damien, for sending us out this fragrance to share our opinions. It's King Intense.
Yeah, this
pineapple
is a
vintage King Intense.
Yeah, pineapple vintage King Intense. And now this is
the box.
This is a 50 ml bottle, right? Is this the only size available, or does it come in 100 ml?
Right now, I believe it's the only size available.
Cool.
And
it's got that nice plate on it too. That's pretty good.
I do like I like the bottles that he uses. I like the sprayers, and even the label. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. I've kind of always admired the pineapple vintage bottles. I think they're actually really cool, even though pretty sure they're stock bottles, but they're some of the nicest ones I've seen in usage, you know what I'm saying, of these frags. So you know, Parfums Vintage, they make I think the majority of them, if not all of them, are based on some fragrance or another, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like even Pineapple Vintage, even the original Intense, all those have some basis in, it's trying to emulate Aventus to some degree. You know,
I do like it because Damien takes his own twist on it. It's not like, even though he uses the same ingredients like with Pineapple Vintage and Pineapple Vintage Intense, it has almost all the same notes as Aventus, but it smells quite different.
It does. Yeah, actually, on this subject, I'd recently tried X-Batch, and that one was like, honestly, probably the closest Aventus clone that I have smelled, or the closest thing to Aventus, at least when it opens. It has that combination of it has a combination of it's like Sauvage and Aventus, so like that, like a heavy ambroxan. But man, it smells really damn good. But so I was excited to try this one, because you know, I own Pineapple Vintage Intense, I own Pineapple Vintage Noir, I love Beyond Noir, I have a decan of that. Mo actually has a bottle of it. You know, that Beyond Noir is awesome. I think the only ones that I wasn't really a fan of was probably Noir Intense wasn't my favorite one, and the original, honestly, I get a strong I think it kind of reminds me of Demeter Pineapple a little bit. So when I started smelling, when Mo was telling me about this one, I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be along the lines of like Suave, which I think is a great La Nuit clone, or Emerald Isle or something like that, which I think is a pretty nice emulation of a Green Irish Tweed batch. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know, let's give it a shot. Let's see what this is like. And I got some on my arm right now that I sprayed here. It's drying down. I had been wearing it actually throughout the day as well, while he and I were at the mall. We were hitting up Saks, and yeah. So I just wanted to refresh my memory on it. But I will say, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is really something that I don't know if it's totally for me exactly. There's something. I will say that it reminds me of Aventus, no doubt. It definitely does. But man, there is this woody, there's some woodsy notes in there that, yeah, I don't know if it smells, I don't know if it's synthetic or if it's just, it definitely doesn't smell like a cedar wood or like, you know, like Virginia cedar or something like that. It's just got something in there that's a little bit of a turnoff, honestly. And I think it opens nicer than it dries down. And man, dude, like to just have those first couple of minutes of it smelling awesome, and then to have it kind of get that almost kind of like slight mustiness or something there. It's something. I don't know. It just smells off. What do you think? Okay, so let me actually interject right here. Now that it's fully dried down, And I guess since there weren't a whole bunch of other smells around, I can actually say that it does remind me of Aventus in the dry down. Actually, quite a bit more along the lines of like 16H11 though. So it's not my favorite batch dry down, but it does actually really get close in the dry down. But I guess it's that middle zone, that transition into the dry down that doesn't quite do it for me. So yeah, just throwing that out there.
Let's start with what Damien was trying to accomplish with this.
Sure.
When I was talking to him in PMs, he was trying to make something more balanced than Pineapple Vintage Intense,
Right.
but not necessarily so smoky as Beyond Noir, which Beyond Noir is my favorite from his house. I think Rush of Unicorns is really good too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I think his goal was to make like a balanced-esque batch of Aventus with a syrupy pineapple note. So when I first tried this, it was warm when it came to me. So I wanted to give it a couple of days, and I couldn't wait, so I waited like I think a day and a half, and I kept using it. I've been using it here and there for the past, I don't know, maybe week.
Okay.
About maybe week and a half. So this is what's weird about it. It has this weird chalky, woody pencil shaving type opening where the wood, it doesn't smell, I mean, what kind of wood smells natural? But it just has like this weird synthetic wood type scent whenever it opens. And I'm gonna say I disagree with what you said. I don't think that it gets worse as it dries down. I think it gets a lot better as it dries down. I don't think that if you like Pineapple Vintage Intense, you'll like this. I personally don't like Pineapple Vintage Intense, but I can see why a lot of people like it.
Right.
It has a high compliment factor. It's fruity. It has its own unique type scent to it. It lasts a decent amount of time. This one, I would say, lasts between maybe, on me, 5 and 7 hours at the most.
Yeah, unfortunately,
But
on me it didn't quite get
Yeah.
that far. About 6 hours, but I could stop smelling
Yeah.
it 4 hours in. So on me personally, it doesn't quite perform
yeah,
all that well.
but I would say this is probably my least favorite of the entire house. It just has this weird woodiness that it's hard for me to get over. But yeah, it has like this, the opening there's a lot going on. It's like this weird chalky, woody, almost pencil shaving like opening.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, I don't mean to diss the fragrance. It's just what I get out of the fragrance when I smell it. But yeah, so I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend that you check out Pineapple Vintage Intense because a lot of people like it. It's fruity. It's a solid compliment getter. For me, that fragrance gave me headaches. I don't know what was in it that did that, but everyone's different. So
Right.
if it didn't give me headaches, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Okay. I personally would recommend Beyond Noir or the original Noir. I think
Yes.
those are great.
Beyond Noir is great, but just be careful because it's super birch tar heavy.
Yeah.
So if you've never smelled a vintage batch of Aventus, you might not like that barbecue-esque
Yeah.
vibe
Actually,
to it. But I love it.
one
and he loves it.
thing he was pointing out is that less is more with that one. So
Yeah.
you overspray on it, it can get a little overwhelming, but you spray just the right amount, you'll smell it all day. It's great.
Yeah,
It's actually got some really nice longevity on it, like
he does.
8 hours on me.
I actually got one compliment.
Okay.
Yeah, someone really liked it.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, there are definitely options in the house. I recommend Suave. I recommend Emerald Isle.
Yeah.
I recommend Intense. Even though, again, yeah, just like he's saying, I'm not in love with it, but I can see why people will like it. It is nice. I'm even gonna just spray the opening here again, but just to kind of, because like where it sits right now, it's like I almost
Yeah.
like it, but I just
I wish there was more fruit in it, which when I was talking to Damien about it, he said that it's supposed to have a syrupy pineapple in there.
You know,
I don't get it.
I will tell you,
I don't get it.
I'm doing it again, and I am kind of getting. I'm getting kind of a sugaryness or something that's sitting in the background. It's just I can't quite classify it as syrupy. Like syrupy, if and this is going into Aventus batch talk territory. Perfect in my mind, where I can say 110% if you don't smell the syrup, then you probably aren't familiar with what you're smelling.
I think I know what you're about to say.
17W01.
Yeah.
It is syrup through and through.
Yep.
That is like, if you ever wanted to know exactly what syrupy Aventus smells like, that would be the batch to try.
Yep.
And this doesn't quite get
I think
there,
16L1 is pretty there too. 16L1 is pretty syrupy to me.
but yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I actually did get a small decan of it, but
I like
You know-
it a lot more now than when I first tried it, because I had a
Yeah.
brand new bottle and I would spray it. It's kind of basic.
but
So I sold it. I never got to smell it in its final form.
But it does get sweeter then.
It gets sweeter and then it gets a lot dinker.
I will tell you, the more I reach in to try to get that sweetness, I'm getting little bits of it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't recommend this. I could see there being people who would like this, just based on the fact that there are. I mean, again, it does remind me of Aventus, but I just. How much is this again? How much is this run? Is it like 80 something bucks?
I think 50 ml is like around $80.
So $79 for this, for the 50 ml size. I just don't know if I would really be in the market for this one at that price. I will tell you, if this same bottle was along the price of Emerald Isle or something, where I think it's 100 ml's like 70 or 80 bucks or something like that, that's a great value. And honestly, that the more I smell it, the more I'm like, damn, this reminds me. Smells a lot like a batch of Green Irish Tweed. You know, it's like it was enough for me to get a bottle of it. This one though, I just don't know that I could really justify the cost on it, because honestly, you can just get real Aventus. I mean, for 89 bucks, you can get a decant of Aventus. 200 bucks, you can get a 100 ml bottle of Aventus, and would it be comparable?
Actually, I'm pretty sure John Zimmerman sells Aventus decants for, I think it's $80 for 50 ml.
For 50 ml, really? 80 bucks?
It's between 80 and 80. Yeah. It won't have a nice full presentation bottle or anything like that.
Right.
You're getting a decant. But yeah, John Zimmerman sells 50 mLs of Aventus for about 80 or 85, one of the two.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing though. It's like, okay, so are you buying an impression of it, or do you just get the real thing? Honestly, with the longevity that it has and everything, I mean, I think you would probably do better just getting a batch of Aventus, even if it's one of the newer 17 or 18 batches. Yeah, it's that woodiness just isn't quite cutting it. But I will tell you that I do kind of get some of the sweetness, but it really does kind of go away. I mean, what did I spray it? 6, 7?
I think, I think it lasts a little bit longer on me than it does on you.
How does it smell on your arm? Where do you have it?
Right here.
Right. Yeah, here, smell it on me right there.
Yeah, it's dying on you.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it just doesn't work for me.
It lasts a moderate amount on me.
Yeah. The other ones last, honestly, longer on me than this one does. X-Batch has a kind of similar half-life to this. Yeah. It kind of goes away a little fast there, but I will tell you, the presentation is nice. The bottle's nice. The box is nice. Hashtag fuck the box, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't fuck this box though. The box is too cute.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
I actually really like what Damien is doing, because he works his ass off to make these types of frags, and I think what he's trying to do is provide a really good value. So I'm excited to see in the future what he does come out with, because I think eventually he's going to make an Aventus. If there's anyone that has come, not necessarily closest to Aventus, but making an Aventus-esque fragrance that smells really good, other than like Bond Number 9 or something like that, I think it's probably Damien, because I do like what he's doing. So I'll be waiting until he comes out with an actually amazing one that blows me away, at least, Aventus cologne. Yeah, and we're not trying to trash the house of Parfums Vintage, because, you know, much respect to what Damien's doing, I couldn't do it. I'm just excited to see one day when he does come out with an Aventus clone. I just wouldn't recommend someone a fragrance that I myself wouldn't purchase.
Yeah, for me, my final thought on this is, I mean, nice try, dude. I mean, it was pretty. It's definitely in the direction. It's got the vibe. I will tell you, whatever you were doing with X Batch, I would love to see something more in that direction. X Batch is opening with, you know, maybe something for the mids that kind of resembles Beyond Noir, and something that dries down to maybe Pineapple Vintage Noir would be something pretty interesting. I would love to see something like that. I don't know if that's totally possible. I'm not a perfumer, obviously, but I would say that X Batch, to me, has the closest Aventus opening than any of the other Parfum Vintages, or really any clone that I've ever smelled. But that opening is like, damn, I've been spraying it actually just a little bit on my hand or just around that as I wore it out several times.
Yeah.
Every single time I spray it, I go, holy shit, this smells like Aventus. Like, it actually
The
kind of...
first 5 minutes.
The first 5 minutes, yeah, blows my mind, actually.
It's pretty good.
And then it starts to dry down, and it goes in its own direction. It becomes more like Sauvage, not as cloying as Sauvage. It's more like the Sauvage EDP, a little airier. But it doesn't perform on me all that well. Or it does, and I just go nose blind to it or something. But
on that subject, I would like to see like a pineapple blackcurrant heavy batch of Aventus, something like a 14L01. I think 14L01 had a lot of blackcurrant and pineapple in it, and it had like a decent, nice balance.
Yeah.
So I would like to, or a 13ZZ01.
Okay. I know somebody tried that already.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dua.
Yeah, I love you, Masam, but
13ZZ was trash.
That's him, bro. I didn't say that shit.
But
Casino Royale Nights is amazing. I gotta overlap the hate with something nice.
I
Holy
did
shit.
hype the shit out of Casino Royale Nights.
Yeah, no, because that is legitimately an amazing drink. Actually, that's what I'm wearing right now. It smells amazing. I'm actually wearing Caribbean Waters, which is his Virgin Island water clone, and Casino Royale Nights. The layer is heavenly.
So, but I just haven't smelled an Aventus clone that has that nice blackcurrant in Aventus other than Bond Number 9 HGP.
Correct.
That's the only one that did it, and it so happens to be my favorite Aventus like fragrance that's not Aventus. So if you can do a pineapple blackcurrant, somewhat well balanced fragrance like a 13ZZ, it doesn't have to smell exactly like
if you could just
13ZZ.
make a more natural smelling HCTP, I think I'd be pretty damn happy.
I would too, actually.
I would be right behind that shit.
Yeah.
I would love to see what you do with that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That would be, a blackcurrant heavy one would be dope. But, man, if you can just nail that opening, though, gets... Maybe, I don't know, amp up the Ambroxan. I don't really know what that would require, but I will say...
See, I'm not a fan of Ambroxan. Like, because
Yeah,
anything that has heavy Ambroxan just from Ambroxan, I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Anything with heavy Ambroxan just reminds me of Sauvage.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. In X Batch, that opening, it's there, but it's like, I feel like the pineapple and the Ambroxan they're like almost this, they're one and the same. Like, they're really well blended. It's just that it begins to deviate as it dries down. And the
And the
ambroxan is
pineapple
what
disappears.
The pineapple disappears, then you just
Yeah.
get the ambroxan. So it's that marriage of ambroxan and pineapple reminds me so much of Aventus. It's kind of nuts. Because like if let's say HTTP had that opening, I would be like, holy shit, this is the best Aventus clone on earth. You know what I'm saying? But it lacks that opening. It just kind of goes right to the blackcurrant and the pineapple and everything.
Yeah.
And it smells synthetic as balls, but it's a good synthetic. I'm not gonna be a niche snob, you know, and say, oh, just fuck synthetics. I love synthetics. You just gotta do it right though. If it smells obviously synthetic, you're not really doing that good of a job. Or if it just smells bad. Thankfully, you know, Mancera and HTTP, you know, Bond, you know, yeah, some of them don't hit the mark. Others, like HTTP and Bleecker Street, man, they hit the mark. It's good shit.
HTTP is the bomb.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that was our thoughts on this. This probably went on a little longer than I was expecting it to. But okay,
so courtesy of Damien, we're gonna decant 10 mLs from this and give it to one of them.
yeah, well, let's just give it to a random subscriber. Just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what your favorite Parfums vintage is, and
Make sure you're subscribed.
yeah, definitely be a subscriber, please. I'm gonna check. I don't got that many, so I can check. And you know, and I'll go and do like a random number generator. You probably won't see it, but I swear I will. I'll be real. I'll be fair about it, and I'll just pick a random subscriber down below, and I'll send
While
you.
we're at it, we'll do one for your Facebook as well. So we'll post it on Sassy. What's your?
Oh yeah, that's right. The Sassy Sense meme colony. Yeah, you can also go ahead and sign up for that to the Facebook group.
First 100. Is that a lot of comments?
I only
50
have like 30 people on there, so
First 50 people who comment on there, you
Yeah.
have 20 people growth.
yeah, there we go. Okay.
We'll put them in like a raffle.
Yeah, that works. We'll do that. Okay, cool. So yeah, all you got to do for the Facebook one is just I'll post a link down below to that Facebook group, and you just request to join, and that'll be that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Mo, for being on.
We had hot pot, so we have too much energy.
Yeah, I barfed out a noodle.
True story.